On December 4th, 2024, the CEO of America's largest health insurer walked alone to a Manhattan hotel entrance. No security detail, no advanced sweep. He was shot 3 times and died on the pavement. Visibility is a vulnerability. Every level of this hierarchy is a different budget for how completely you can remove it. 7 levels. Let's get into it. Level 1. The basics. Home security and situational awareness. Level 1 security is residential. Cameras, access control, alarm systems, a monitored perimeter, professionally installed and integrated. It is the digital layer that most high-net-worth households treat as a checkbox. At the median for S&P 500 CEOs, companies reported spending around $40,000 on personal security perquisites in 2023, a figure that covers home systems and basic monitoring. Apple spent roughly $800,000 protecting Tim Cook in 2024. Warren Buffett's personal security bill for 2023 was $313,595. Home and residential protection managed across his primary residences. Level 1 also includes something that costs nothing and matters more than the cameras: situational awareness training. The understanding that predictability is the enemy, that the same route, the same time, the same entrance every day is not a habit, it is an invitation. Level 2. The close protection agent. Approximately $150,000 to $500,000 per year. One trained person. Walking with you, riding with you, thinking about the room before you enter it. A professional close protection agent, the industry's preferred term over bodyguard, runs approximately $1,600 to $2,500 per day at contract rates. This is the level at which most senior executives operate who have decided they need something. One agent or a small rotating team. Advance work on travel. A car with a driver who is also trained. The buyer here just got the call that changed their mind. They are not optimizing for prestige. They are optimizing for the feeling of not being the person who walked across that pavement alone. Level 3. The corporate security program. Approximately $500,000 to $5 million per year. This is where the function professionalizes. It stops being a personal decision and becomes an institutional one. At this level, companies deploy dedicated security directors, threat assessment teams, and integrated travel security programs. Tesla disclosed spending approximately $2.4 million in 2023 on security for Elon Musk. Though analysts widely note that figure reflects only what was run through one disclosed security company and excludes the considerable additional arrangements funded elsewhere. NVIDIA reported $3.5 million on CEO Jensen Huang in 2024. Alphabet spent $6.8 million on Sundar Pichai in the same year. Level 3 is also where a new problem appears. The protection program is now large enough to be visible. And visibility, at every level of this hierarchy, is the thing you are trying to eliminate. If this is landing, hit like and subscribe. Every week I break down how power, risk, and money actually work, not how the brochure describes them. Stay with me, because from level 4 onward, the architecture of billionaire security stops being about protection and starts being about disappearance. Level 4. The Zuckerberg model of $27 million. That is what Meta reported spending to protect Mark Zuckerberg in 2024. Meta has told the SEC that Zuckerberg is synonymous with the company, a phrase that functions as both a legal justification and a statement of how unusual his threat profile is. No other tech CEO in the United States is within an order of magnitude of that figure in disclosed corporate security spending. What does $27 million buy? It buys an organization, a team with its own operations center, its own intelligence function, its own logistics infrastructure. It buys residential security and multiple properties across multiple countries. It buys advanced teams that arrive in a city before Zuckerberg does, assess every venue, sweep every route, and brief the local detail. It buys armored vehicles that travel with him between locations. It buys air security coordination for private aviation. Level 5. The superyacht as security infrastructure. Approximately $10 million to $50 million plus in total operating costs. The most effective security system for a billionaire is not a faster car or a thicker door. It is mobility. And nothing provides mobility at scale the way a superyacht does. A superyacht does not have a fixed address. It has a current position and a future position, and neither is publicly announced. The principal is at sea, in international waters, on a vessel with a crew who have been vetted and contracted to a discretion standard that land-based staff rarely match. Access is controlled by water and distance. There is no pavement to walk across. There is no entrance exposed to a public street. The buyer here has not decided to own a yacht for leisure. They have decided to own a yacht because the alternative, being findable, addressable, and accessible on land, carries a risk profile they are no longer willing to accept. Level 6. Threat intelligence and the intelligence apparatus. Approximately $5 million to $20 million per year. The most sophisticated security operations at the highest wealth levels are not primarily defensive. They are primarily informational. The people who run security for the world's wealthiest individuals are largely former intelligence professionals. They understand that reactive security, responding to a threat as it materializes, is already too late. What they build is an intelligence function, the capability to identify threats weeks or months before they become physical, to monitor communications channels where hostile intent is expressed, to conduct the kind of threat assessment that a government would conduct on a foreign national of interest. At this level, the security operation knows more about the threats facing its principal than the principal does. That is the design. The principal's job is to live their life. The security apparatus's job is to ensure that the life being lived cannot be predicted by anyone outside it. Level 7. Geographic sovereignty. The bolt hole. Approximately $10 million to $500 million capital cost. The final level is a philosophical position, not a product category. It is the decision that the existing world, with its public streets, its predictable geography, its entrenched social contract, is not a safe enough environment in which to operate. And the response to that decision is to build a different world. Peter Thiel became a New Zealand citizen in 2011 after spending 12 days in the country, a citizenship granted through an extraordinary provision that bypassed normal residency requirements. He subsequently purchased multiple properties, including a site near Lake Wanaka, where he attempted to build an underground compound embedded into a hillside. A 330-meter glass-lined guest lodge for 24 people, an owner's accommodation pod, full autonomous infrastructure. The local council rejected the plans. Thiel has not withdrawn the application. The logic at level 7 is not paranoia. It is actuarial. At sufficient levels of wealth and visibility, the probability that someone will attempt to harm you, abduct you, or use your family to reach you is no longer theoretical. Here is the thing that connects Brian Thompson, walking alone across a Manhattan pavement, to Mark Zuckerberg's underground structure in Kauai. Both of them made a decision about how much of their life to redesign around a threat they could not fully see. That is the nature of this hierarchy. The architecture of their daily life is not designed for comfort. It is designed to make them impossible to find on a specific morning, at a specific entrance, on a specific pavement. Visibility is the vulnerability. The entire hierarchy is a system for becoming invisible. If this was useful, subscribe. I break down how power, risk, and money actually work, not how the brochure describes them. See you in the next one.